Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn here, and if you guys enjoyed this video, you should subscribe for more My Hero Academia videos. Today we are going to be doing my reaction and discussion to the newest episode, and so I hope that you guys will enjoy that. The darkness has been cast out in a fashion, and now mushrooms have risen, you could say it, so I'm really excited to see what exactly these mushrooms do and what's going on with all of that. Remember that this is my discussion and reaction, so if you want to see my full-length reaction, I have a time sync-up reaction up on Patreon. It's a full-length reaction, and it's a you press play when I press play sort of thing, whereas this is just my reaction highlights to the biggest moments, the coolest moments that I choose to put in, and then afterwards we do a little discussion about the episode. So yeah, I'm super excited, and I hope that you guys will enjoy. Let's just get into it. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Well, can't you just, drill a hole through it or something? Oh! At least she recognizes that she's the brain, though. I really like that. She's like, we separated the brain. The team is weak. Oh, see? She's not the brain, though. She's a little insecure. You know? Oh. Todoroki. Guys, this is gonna make me cry. Why am I gonna cry? Oh, my hero. See, those are the moments I miss a lot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay, maybe Class B won't win then because they're not working together to beat her. They just let Kendo do it all alone. Wait, what? Oh! A gun! Meanwhile, uh-oh. Oh, can't stop twinkling, no. Oh! Kendo is smart. Oh no! That's probably bad! Oh! It wasn't to break down the wall at all! Oh, so she double bluffed her. It wasn't to shoot her and it wasn't to take down the wall. It was to do another thing? Aww, he's a big softie, isn't he? He got told he did a good job, now he's happy. He's so shy. Oh, he's so shy around her, right? Uh-oh. Oh, he trapped him? That's interesting. Now he can't get out because there's nowhere to jump out to. Oh. Wow, they actually won? I thought that Class B would win this time. But the tables could turn again. No! No, Tokiyami, no! everybody, let us get into the discussion now. Now, like how this episode is about light, I guess, in a weird way, I have been messing, like, with the lighting in this room today, and I feel like I'm gonna cry. I think that I finally got it. Basically, I was, like, playing around with the exposure and, like, you know, the shine and stuff like that, and I think that I got it. Like, I think that things definitely look a little bit more, like, better and less, like, bright in here. Like, bright in, like, a washing out, like, washing you out sort of way. I don't know, it's just been, like, an hour of me, like, you know, doing the light, then doing the camera, then doing the light, then doing the camera, and so I'm gonna cry. But anyway, that is what is going on in this video today. But let us talk about the highlights from this episode, or at least my highlights, right? So obviously we have mushrooms, hella mushrooms. I do like wonder, because they didn't explain what exactly the mushrooms do. Like, they didn't explain whether or not they're poisonous or anything like that. Like, obviously some of them got into Tokiyami's lungs later, I guess, but like that was the only part of this episode that I wish they went into depth about, because it seems like, you know, a missed opportunity in some way. Like, I don't know, like, do mushrooms really give off like toxic gas, or is that just like, I don't know, anti-mushroom propaganda? Like, I don't know anything about mushrooms other than, like, you know, like the cordyceps, like Last of Us whole, like stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really know anything to know, like, whether, I know ingesting mushrooms can be poisonous, but would there be like fumes and stuff, like how I was sort of thinking? But anyway, I really like this scene just because, like, to see him hide in the mushroom, it also establishes that he can do that, because like the pipes, I don't know, like the pipes just seemed kind of different than an actual like object that is almost like not disconnected, but like the pipe was like one long thing and it was all in shadow, whereas I guess he went like in the shadow of a mushroom and then kind of like turned into a mushroom, and so that's a little different. And then that helps establishing the fact that he's like in the cloak later, because basically it seems like he can go under or like in any object that has a shadow, right? So the mushroom had a shadow, he went into the shadow, now he's the mushroom, and so with the cloak, it's the exact same thing later on. I don't have a lot to say about this scene, but I just like how they're showing like Kendo's intelligence, if that makes sense. Like how they are showing like that she thought ahead, that she has like plan A, plan B, and she hasn't necessarily thought as far ahead as like Momo, for example, but still, like, I liked this just for showing off like how smart she is and how prepared she was, because it's a low risk but strong move for them. And so I thought that that was like, I really liked that. Like, I like to see the thought process of the character, because it's a low risk but strong move for them compared to what some of the other classmates in Class A can actually do, I guess, compared to Tokiyami. So I just really liked this scene showing off her intelligence, and it also, I think, shows the characters of everyone, because like this guy's like, what if I fail, right? Like, you know, and then she's just like standing here all cute with her arms behind her back, very like, almost like, not nefariously, how do you say it, like if somebody's like mischievous, yes, mischievously. They probably don't realize that he improved his cork, and so I really like just the illustration of this, and I like seeing that his cork could not do that last time we saw him, or if we ever saw him. I don't remember seeing this man, but you know, he's improving his cork as well and can manipulate dark shadow now, so go and catch someone with that. And so I really, really like that, like how they're planning everything out. And this is her thinking ahead again. Against you, our opponents will definitely use light. The rest of us will be able to see where you are with that light. If it's too bright, dark shadow won't be able to do anything very powerful. And so that is basically where they decided to make like plan B. So like if he made some mistake, which I guess he did in a sense, like I don't think it was a mistake as much as he was like outnumbered. Like he didn't expect Tokiyami to be able to fly, and therefore like everything went wrong. Whereas if he couldn't have flown or flied, I guess, like he wouldn't have been able to get Aoyama back, right? And so I feel like that's basically what happened in this case. I thought that this was so cool, like just to see like the words actually like in the concrete and stuff. Like obviously it's kind of hard for me because like I know that it's kanji, I don't know what it said, like I know that it's like, you know, letters and stuff, but I don't know what it says, and so like it was hard for me at first, but then I was like, oh my god, like that's so cool. And so I really, really like how they decided to do this and illustrate this, and I really enjoy his like automatopoeia power. It's so hard to say, but like it's like, you know, words like buzz, like words that that sound or are how they sound, like bzz, right? Like bzz is bzz, right? Like it's not, I don't know, it's such a weird thing to explain, but I really like it. I think it's a really unique thing. Yeah, he can make the sound effects in Automatopoeia and comics materialize, right? And so, you know, if you did like buzz, right, there would be a bunch of bees or like bugs or something, because like bugs buzz, and so it's the word sounding like the actual noise that you would hear and everything. And I just thought that that was really cool. Depending on the sound, he can also add various effects. I don't know what sound damp was making, but I guess we'll see. Maybe it was like a humidifier type noise, you know what I mean? Like if you guys have ever had a humidifier, like I have one, and when you turn it on, you can hear the like hiss, right? Like almost, and so maybe, again, I think that this is one of those things where they did a good job of translating it, but it must be hard. Like it must be hard to translate that Automatopoeia like for us, you know what I mean? Because maybe there are different like words and stuff. I mean, this was pretty much like pow, 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 that made sense, right? You know, and so I really enjoyed this. Like he has such a cool cow. Yeah, so it was the damp that I was like confused about. Like what is damp exactly? Like damp, like that's not really, you know what I mean? That doesn't fall in the same as some of the other stuff, but like maybe it does in Japanese and they're just translating it, right? So I'm imagining more like, I don't know, splash or something, right? Like something like that. I don't know if that's Automatopoeia actually, but you guys understand what I mean. But I thought that this was so cool because like he basically like, you know, wrote the words into existence, and now the damp words are also like humidified. Yeah, oh no, it's a humidifier, exactly, right? And so maybe like that's the noise, like that humidifier noise was like the idea. And so I thought that this was just so cool. I'm really impressed by like the power that they gave him. It's a pretty unique type of thing, but I don't know, like I still have questions, and the question is just about like, was he born like this? I don't know, like that's just the one thing where I still don't quite understand about the show, is if your quirks start to appear when you're 5, like people like Tokiyami and stuff, like did they just suddenly turn into birds, you know what I mean? And so somebody needs to explain that to me, because if this man like just woke up one day and his head was like this, like I would be scared. And so yeah, that's the only thing I've been thinking about. I'm just like, but how does that work? Because I don't get it. I thought this line of dialogue was really nice just because they're like, we've separated the brain, right? And so it's sort of acknowledging that, at least for Kendo, like Kendo like really thinks that Momo is like kind of the mastermind of the team, and in some ways she is, and I expect that next episode that may be the downfall, just because like it doesn't seem like you know, Invisible Girl or Tokiyami, or especially Can't Stop Twinkling, right? Like he was just useless this entire time. It doesn't seem like they were very good at like constructing a secondary plan, and they really relied on Momo to make the plan for them. And so I feel like that's gonna be like Aizawa's feedback to them, is I feel like, and I said this before, but here's the thing. So last fight, everyone was strong on an individual level in Class B, but they didn't come together enough. You know what I mean? Like Vine Girl, like the Scale guy, the Beast guy, like they're all strong individually, but they didn't have good teamwork. Whereas there were weaknesses in Class A, like, you know, like individually, but they did better. You know what I mean? Like obviously, like Shinzo had weaknesses, Kaminari had weaknesses, Kirishima had weaknesses, right? Like in an individual level, they all had some sort of flaw, but as a team, they came together. Whereas Class B, individually, they were all great, but their teamwork sucked. I think that that's gonna be the general theme for all these fights. And in this case, right, I think that most of the people, right, again, Can't Stop Twinkling is strong, I guess. I don't know what he was doing, but anyway, like Momo's pretty strong. Again, like, you know, Tokiyami's pretty strong. Invisible Girl's pretty strong, but the problem was they were sort of separated by a team that was a stronger team, you know what I'm saying? And like that teamwork. Like Mushroom Girl, basically saving like Darkness Guy and all that stuff. Like that was like a teamwork thing. And so I think that why Class B won in this case was because they had a better team, like, you know, all like the plan suited like the team, and the team was all also able to pull out their own trump cards if they were separated from Kendo. Like, they had their own plans. You know what I mean? Like, Mushroom Girl had a backup plan in case they were trapped in that position, whereas nobody else, I don't think, in Class A really did in this fight, right? Like, you know, they relied on Momo's plan too hard, whereas it seems like in the Class B team, like, yes, like, Kendo was explaining the plan, but, like, Darkness Guy had his plan, and then there was the Mushroom plan, and maybe that was, like, organized by Kendo, but then all those individual characters also had like their own plans and their own strategies, like knowing what their quirks can do. So I think that that was like the idea, right? And so yeah, they're just fighting over here. I won't give you time to think, so again, it's reinforcing like, oh yeah, Momo's the brain if she thinks it's over, which is true, but then you also see this like, you know, I am wise because I know that I am not wise. Like, Momo's basically saying like, you think that I'm so smart, but I'm just a fool. And so like, wisdom is knowing that you are not wise, like that old like Socrates type situation, right? And so because since you have to use materials from your own body to make things, you'll definitely be the first to give up. And so this is just like a stamina thing, right? Because like, I guess what happens is that she like takes the iron from her body and makes like iron stuff, you know what I mean? Like the shield and everything like that. And like eventually you just, I don't know, you'd be nutritionally deficient. I don't know, like you'd be like out of vitamins or whatever. And so I guess like that's sort of the thing. And like she also would get just tired, you know. Iron deficiency is no joke, people. But yeah, I like though that we see this scene because I totally forgot about this, and I love seeing Todoroki like remember this and put this back in the audience's memory, I guess. Like, Kendo seems to think like, oh yeah, Momo's the brain, Momo's this, Momo's that. But when you go back like a couple seasons ago, you know, your plan didn't work, so how could my idea? Like, she's actually like very insecure in herself, right? And so I really liked this scene, and like this started to make me like emotional. When we were voting for class rep, you had 2 votes, right? One of those votes were mine, and I'm sure that we've seen this before, like this was just a flashback, but I totally forgot about this. And I just really like the reinforcement of how like Todoroki believes in her and believing in her in this moment as well, like in the fight as well, but also recognizing like, you know, I think that he sort of had this attitude of Kendo thinks this, but I know Momo feels this way instead. And so yeah, I just really liked this scene. Yeah, that's not true. The truth is I'm actually still an inexperienced fool. And so I think that like that Todoroki scene connects really well with this, because I think that she has grown more confident in herself, but it's more balanced, you know what I mean? She doesn't think that she's entirely shit, but Kendo seems to think that she like is like god tier, like she's so smart, but she has a more balanced opinion of herself. She's not like at the low like she was before, like thinking that her ideas would suck. She's just more in the middle, whereas Kendo thinks she's up here, but she's really not up there. She's more in that like middle route. And so I really like this from Momo though. Even so, you deem to call me better, so I can't let you see me looking pathetic. And so in this case, it's like, okay, well, I can't let you know that. Like, you know, like I can't let you know that that I feel this way. And so I feel like that even if it's a false confidence in a sense, it's kind of like that like fake it till you make it type thing. And so I thought that that was really good. Even though this wasn't entirely true, this is like setting off my shipping meter. Like, I totally forgot. And so I'm here for it. Like, I'm here for support of Todoroki. And it's gonna be interesting how he applies what happened in this fight to the next fight, because Todoroki's team is next to fight, and so I wonder if they showed this not only like to remind the audience, I guess, like of their interaction, but also to show like, hey, Todoroki was watching, and now, you know, he has his own plan inspired by what happened in this fight, inspired by Momo in a way. I think that would be nice. Yeah, so Can't Stop Twinkling gets kidnapped again, and so it looks like what happened is that he basically like shadowed through all the mushrooms and stuff and caught him again, and I was just like, oh, sir, like, I don't know why he was like this, but meanwhile, we still have some Autumnatopia stuff going on, and it hits Tokiyami in the face, which is not good, and then obviously, right, they have this scene together. I think Invisible Girl is in this scene. If we cannot determine the location of these 3, then it will end like this, right? And so Momo's been separated. He's like basically like all alone by himself. Like, we need a plan to break out of this, right? And so here's the thing, is that I feel like that their downfall was that Momo gave them the plan, right? Like the goggles and the disinfectant. But yeah, I think the problem is that the plan had to be handed to Tokiyami, and none of them really took a leadership role necessarily. Meanwhile, we have the cannon, right? And so this totally debated me because I thought that she was gonna break through the wall too, because it was like almost a triple bluff. Like they thought that they were gonna shoot it at her, like as a weapon, right? Then Kendo thought it was to break the wall, so that was like bluff number 2. But bluff number 3 was that it wasn't, like it had nothing to do with that. It was to go over the wall and get some supplies to her teammates, right? And so I thought that that was like really funny how it was a bluff, like basically like 3 times, right? Because you know, everyone's watching and they're like, oh my god, they're gonna shoot it at her, and Kendo's like, no, she wouldn't shoot it at me, it's a bluff, like she's gonna break down the wall. But then it wasn't even that either. And so that thing's dangerous, and so she basically like tries to enlarge her fists for the impact, but then it doesn't even like go that way anyway. It just like she just flings the bag over the wall and everything. And so yeah, I thought that that was like really smart. It wasn't to break down the wall, no. And so I thought that that was really nice. Did she shoot something up? Yes. When this turned into the kind of fight that you're good at, it wasn't likely that I could beat you. And so I do like that Momo acknowledges that at least, right? And so she's basically saying like, hey, you know, like in combat like this, like you're gonna kick my ass, bro, but maybe I can still help my teammates. I feel like that's sort of the mentality that she has right there. This grab bag reminded me of Miraculous Ladybug for some reason. I don't know if you guys know, but in Miraculous, the main superhero's power is she like can have a lucky charm and she needs to figure out how to use it to save the day sort of thing. And so there's been like pool noodles and like a bunch of different stuff like as she goes like lucky charm, and then it comes back down and she's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And so I feel like that was kind of, it just reminded me because it said lucky bag on it. It sort of reminded me of that because there were like items in here and they needed to know like how to use them, kind of like Miraculous, right? Like no instructions, just figure it out yourself. And see, that's what I'm saying, is that they did a good job of following Momo's instructions. I feel like that they also need to like be leaders themselves as well and like learn how to do that. I think that that would be a good angle for next episode, right? And anyway, I really like this scene because it seems like he likes her. Like he doesn't seem to be this shy around anyone else. He was just like, right, or something. Like I don't think that he was being sarcastic. He's like, good job. Like he's like flustered. It seemed like he's like, yeah, right, you know, like he like stutters a little bit sometimes. And so I feel like that was like really cute, like their interactions here. And I don't know, it seems like he kind of likes her because he wasn't this shy around like Tokiyami or anything. The other team doesn't know where we are, so if we can keep attacking them with mushrooms like this, and see, like, look at him, look how shy he is, right? He's just like, you know, that like, hey, right? And so I really like that. That's a really interesting angle for them, that little romance. And yes, I love this. I love the goggles. I think that this is super cool. I also like his little, like, I stare in the abyss and the abyss looks back because he can, like, kind of see them in the darkness and everything. But yeah, it's easier to see through these. Yeah, and so then we have the ethanol. And so I love this because I guess Momo manufactured that because it has, like, a mushroom with a cross out on it. And so at least she was able to give some instructions. Like, that's the reason why the mushrooms weren't growing, is because they disinfected themselves, I guess. I guess we'll just say how that works. And so I just really love this scene of them figuring out how to like use it and what to do with it. Based on the design, I'd say they were for you. And so at least they figured that part out, right? Even without words, she conveyed her intent. And I really like that. Like I like, I don't know, just I like the implications of this. Like that Momo is able to just like think ahead and like get the point across and tell them the plan without any words. Even if like the plan was ultimately unsuccessful, it really shows that their communication is good, that they know each other well enough to know what they're thinking, like what, you know, each other is thinking even when they are not around each other, right? Had you already thought of this? That's an interesting thing to think about because she makes the cannon, but did she make the bag earlier that we just didn't see, and then she, you know, I don't know, she put it somewhere and then put it in the cannon, right? Or did she make all of that like at once? I think that he means like thought of this as in like she knew that maybe she would have to do it, like not that she literally made it like, you know, like right as the fight started and stuff, but it just, I don't know, I just really like how they interact and how they think of each other in this scenes. I like this because I think that like he always has something at the back of his like head, like he usually has like an exclamation point or like, you know, lettering and stuff. So I think that that's really cool. I don't think I captured it here, but in the reaction I do remember. And so I like how they are able to illustrate that Invisible Girl's around because otherwise it would be really, really hard. I thought it was strange that the mushrooms didn't grow on you guys. Well, you didn't say anything, sis! Like, that's what I'm saying, is that they rely on Momo so much. Like, she didn't say shit about that. You disinfected yourselves, didn't you? Because imagine when the mushrooms popped up, Invisible Girl said that before Momo got separated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right as the mushrooms were starting. I don't know. Like, that's just sort of what I mean. I'm not being hard on them as in, like, I'm, like, criticizing their characters. I'm saying that I think that that's gonna be, like, the point of this episode. But yeah, like, see, so on the back of his head he has all these words, but I just really like how the fighting is illustrated, you know, even though, like, clearly she's invisible, but you see the battle marks, I guess, and that helps you, like, understand what's going on. Yeah, I just really like that his head has little words on them. That's so cute. I really like this scene because he says that speed beats strength and that he learned that, like, from Hawks. And that kind of makes sense, like, considering how Hawks operates in the flashback, like, especially with, you know, some of the criminals and stuff. Like, he's not necessarily stronger than any of them, but it's like his feathers are so fast they don't have time to react and it's too late. Like, when the feather, like, picks up that guy and everything. And so, yeah, I really like this attack. I thought that this was cool. So they did get damage done to them, right? Like, they still had considerable damage before they had won here. And I really like this. Like, I like how they put him in the cloak because earlier you see that he's able to go into a mushroom, and because there are no other shadows, he can't leave the cloak. And so I thought that that was really good. But I guess, again, the mistake, because I think that one of the other characters says it in Class B, like, oh, you should have knocked her out, like, you should have knocked out Mushroom Girl. And so I guess the implication is that this wouldn't happen unless she was, like, if she was unconscious, like, it's something that she had to, like, activate in a way, like, what happens next. If there's no way for you to move, then there's no need to fear you, which is, like, true, right? And so, unfortunately, I wonder why. Like, I guess it was because he was coughing, but, like, Dark Shadow can sometimes, like, lose control and, like, do his own stuff. And so I wonder why he couldn't have just, like, seen that he was coughing and knocked her out, but maybe that's, like, a limitation. Like, you know, if his host is, like, sick or something, like, he can't just keep going. That was the only thing that I was kind of confused about, because even if he was coughing, wouldn't it have been a good idea for, like, Dark Shadow to knock her out, like, if that was the problem, right? And so he's turned the tables. No! Yeah, but I don't like how fast they wrapped this up, though, because it felt like things were over in, like, an instant. Like, we thought, like, oh, okay, everyone's been captured, but then the tables just turned, like, in a second, and maybe that's the point, like, hey, when you're dealing with villains, like, one mistake can cost you, like, things can change in an instant, because they did go back and forth, like, oh, yeah, is it gonna be Class A? Is it gonna be Class B? Is it gonna be Class A? But then they just, like, flipped the switch with no, like, recourse to fight back against it. You know what I mean? Like, Tokiyami just started coughing, and then it was over. But yeah, be a bad shroom if I didn't use it when we were about to lose. And so, I guess there are mushrooms in his windpipe, like these mushrooms, and so I have questions, but I don't know how to explain them, right? You know what I mean? Like, is this a thing? Like, are you gonna kill him, bro? Like, is this deadly? I don't know. Maybe this is like a fungus-based disease, because, like, humans can get fungus disease, right? Like, not necessarily mushroom, per se, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, fungus-based infection or something, right? And so I wonder if that's what we were supposed to be going for here, but I'm like, sir, like, you're dying, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna kill him. But yeah, that's why I'm like, why aren't you doing anything? Like, I guess he can't. I guess that's why, but maybe that'll be the criticism, like, hey, if Dark Shadow bit more power, like, on his own, but you could still, like, mostly control him, that it would be okay. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they should prioritizing making sure that Dark Shadow is strong enough on his own that he could have knocked her out, because I don't think that they did even after she did that. But I guess it wouldn't have mattered because Kendo came back anyway and caught invisible, so I guess Tokiyami should have just knocked her out, like, from the beginning. I guess it wouldn't have mattered in the end that much. Yeah, this was pretty metal. So, like, she, like, tied her, like, connected her and the cannon, and, like, she's knocked out, and she walked all the way over here. And so I think that that really shows something about Kendo and like her determination. I mean, I don't know how far they were, but like still, like I think that they were like pretty far away, all things considered, given the fact like how far we saw Tokiyami like flying and everything. And so this is pretty metal. The fact that she dragged herself with Momo and the cannon, like that's at least like over 500 pounds, right? Like that's crazy. And so I thought that this was like just a nice character moment for her. I did like this though. Everything she created showed that she was looking ahead. I don't feel like I won. And so in a sense, like Class B did win, but she doesn't feel like that they truly won because she didn't outsmart her, right? Like she just outstrengthed her, I guess you could say. She outstrengthed her, but she didn't outsmart her. I don't know why. My like T's and F's are very hard to say today, but yeah, that's just sort of how I feel, is that Kendo wanted to outsmart her. She didn't just want to beat her up, but Kendo still couldn't do that. Momo outsmarted her, even if strength-wise they ended up losing. Yeah, see, so she's still awake. Like, Dark Shadow didn't knock her out or anything, and so I'm just like, girl, like, sis, like, I wonder why he couldn't do that, because I do know that he has to take orders, from Tokiyami to an extent, but I also know, like, if he grows too powerful, like, he could, like, get out of control, and so I was just like, hey, if there was a time to get out of control, it would be right now, you know? And so I wonder if you could activate that on purpose, and that could be, like, the next thing that Tokiyami has to learn, how to, like, let go if he's in trouble and let Dark Shadow, like, do the thing, you know? And so see, again, like, I feel like he's flustered. I think that he likes her, because he's like, thanks for saving me, you know what I mean? It's only natural to save your teammates, and so I really like their, like, cute little relationship. I think that it's really cute. And so, yeah, they're like, you used that? And she's just like, if I hadn't, we would have lost. Meanwhile, Tokiyami's dying over here. And so I wonder if that's gonna be, like, a thing in the future, like, hey, guys, we know that you want to win, but don't kill your classmates. I could see that, like, even though, you know, the Class B teacher is like, oh yeah, bias commentary, you know what I mean? Like, he's been biased towards them. I feel like Aizawa or All Might or someone will be like, yeah, please don't do that, you know what I mean? Because, like, if he has fungus in his windpipe, isn't that bad? I mean, I guess he'll just go to the medical center, but you know what I mean. Class A was tough, so they won, but it wasn't like an easy win, you know? And so Deku is, you know, positive as ever, like, hey, Tokiyami had his new move, Momo fought, always looking ahead, everyone's improved, and I was like, yeah, sure, like, I still like that positive spin on it, even if they did lose. And now to just wrap things up, we have the little ending over here, and so Todoroki's team looks stacked. If they lose, I will be incredibly surprised, and considering they saw, like, the Class B fight, like, that just happened, especially, like, what happened, with, like, Momo's team, I feel like that Todoroki especially will take that into consideration as they continue fighting, and then I guess they're fighting against Metal Guy, and so, yeah, like, they should be at an advantage, right? So I think that they meant Class A should be at the advantage, but, right, like, this guy's metal, and so, like, how does, I mean, obviously, if you heat stuff up enough, it'll melt, but, like, I feel like that this cold and hot, like, I don't know, it could either work really well, like, you have a Full Metal Alchemist situation where, like, it's so cold that Edward's arm is acting up, like, considering that this guy's kind of all metal, or you could have, like, the opposite, in that he's immune to Todoroki's attacks because of that, but I don't know. Todoroki would have to get, like, feel like that Todoroki would have to, like, do fire, like, really, really hot, like, almost like Dobby does, and so, I don't know, but if he does do that, that would be good foreshadowing to the fact, my theory, that Dobby is the oldest, Todoroki sibling that, like, went missing or whatever they were saying, right? And so, or died, I guess. I think that they were basically saying that he died or, like, drove him away, and now they don't know what happened to him, right? And so, yeah, I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I feel like that they're going to do it down to the wire. Like, Class A 1-1, Class B 1-1. I don't remember if the points matter, though. Like, I don't remember if the points matter in terms of, like, how many were captured. But I think that, no, but you need to capture everyone in order to win, don't you? And so I feel like it's just whoever won. So I think that what they're gonna do is they're gonna make it even, and then for Deku's fight, that's gonna be the deciding match. And so I don't know how many matches we have, which is the problem. I think maybe there's 6. Maybe there's 6 fights, and so that would mean that it would be, okay, Class A, Class B, Class A, so that would be Todoroki. Class B, Bakugo probably, because Bakugo's probably gonna fuck up. Class A, Class B, but actually no, maybe there's only 5, and then it would be like kind of the other way. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, but that's just something that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking that Deku's fight will be the deciding match, and I feel like that Class B may win. Like, I feel like the whole point of this arc isn't so Class A can get another W. Like, I think that it's gonna be either like, yeah, we got the W, but we all saw like we have to improve things, or it's we lost and we have to like acknowledge that Class B doesn't suck at, like, we're not special in that sense. Like, we have a lot of stuff to work on. So I feel like that either way, that'll probably be the moral, but I don't know who will win. And yeah, that is basically all I have to talk about, guys. I think this was a short talk. Let's hope so. And I hope that you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye!